to hear what thus saith Yahuwah to us as individuals and to us as a people. Help us to grow, not just literal food, but also ruachal, spiritual food for ourselves, for our families, for the nations, because you put us here so that we may lead the nations and show the nations how to follow you. So as we return back to our ancient paths, Abba, continue to guide us and help us to hear and see exactly what we should be doing and how we should be doing it, so that we may honor you and that we may praise you, and that the scriptures talks about, or people say, no rock will cry out for me. And no rock will cry out for me, but I don't mind doing a duet with the rocks, because the rocks and the trees and the wind and the rain and the sun, they are still praising the Most High Yah. They have not forgotten who and whom they serve and who has created them. It's us who's forgotten. And even in Job, it tells us that we must learn from the earth, and we must learn from the animals and from the plants. So, Hallel Yahuwah, that we will do those things, and thank you for opportunities such as this. We seek you in all things. May every person who is here leave with more from you than they have right now. We ask these things in the mighty matchless name of your Son, our Mashiach, Yahusha. Hallel, Yahuwah, Hallel, Yahuwah, Hallel, Yahuwah. Isn't he worth every breath in your lungs? There's a song that says, every breath in my lungs is yours. I pour out my praise, I pour out my praise. So I challenge you for that last one. Hallel is just praise, and we're going to breathe, and you can do it differently. So maybe you want to pour out before you breathe in. Maybe you want to breathe out the Hallel, yeah, and then breathe in. But for me, it's just easier to Hallel, to breathe in and breathe out. But I challenge you right now, for the last one, let's do it. You do it for you. Give him back that breath he gave to you. Hallel, Hua Yahai. All right. Y'all, I got bad breath. Nobody came and sat at my table. That's okay. It's all right. As people come in, they can come and sit here. All right. I'm Abigail Gayo. I'm from New York in the house. I'm originally I'm from New York. I was born in New York, but I'm from, my parents are from the Caribbean. The island of St. Kitts in particular, and that's where I got my love for growing from my mom. So she used to grow. She lives in Tampa now, but she has a land in St. Kitts that she has beautiful, beautiful, beautiful things that she grows. And in the Bronx, we had 2 strips of dirt. Maybe they were 2 feet wide. Maybe one was 8 foot long. Maybe they were both 8 foot long. And she grew tomatoes and peppers and okra, which I hated, and green beans, but I like it now, and green beans, and then roses for our church. Yep, should we take roses to the church? And then those 2 strips became 2 strips and a tub, and then some sinks, and then a whole bunch of stuff. So growing is in my blood, literally. So I'm here. I guess I can't talk with my back to myself. Where am I going to sit? I don't want to talk with my back to y'all either. Come over here. With the honored Imas. Ima. Okay, so I'm here to talk about do we have a clicker? Or just say next slide? Okay. So I'm learning, I'm growing. I've been in Georgia since 1996, and I grow food. And I don't talk, I guess I have a garden in Eden. There's a garden in Eden, but I want you to think about forest, food forest. Because gardens are labor intensive. I ain't got no young back no more. I need to plant it once, and it just keeps producing food for me. Can't get down as low as I used to, and right now there are no little people for me to send to get that stuff. Okay, so I do a lot of food foresting, and I'm learning. I'm learning. And it's scriptural. Jeremiah, who says, "For therefore he sent us into Babylon, saying, this captivity is long. Build ye houses, and dwell in them, and plant gardens, and eat the fruit of them." So if you don't have land, you can still plant and grow in your house. I have Malabar spinach that grows in my house. I've grown all sorts of things in my house. I've grown carrots, and I've done aquaponics in my house, which is when you grow food from fish waste. I used to grow tilapia, and yes, they have scales. There's just so much misinformation out there. And no, they're not GMO, and there are actually pictures of tilapia on the same reliefs in the walls in Egypt where there are Hebrew Israelites. There's tilapia. So if they were GMO, they were GMO'd from way back then. And I'm going to try and stay on track. And if I have time later, you can catch me later. Y'all know Jacob was GMOing? Did you know that? Did you know that Jacob was using epigenetics? You didn't know that? Get with me later if there's no time. So people getting all in hub and bub. No, you can't do that. You can't. He was. I think it's Genesis 30, one of the chapters in 30, but we'll talk about that later. So, grow, cook it, eat it. That's me in my present garden. That's one of my harvests. And then that's the food that I like to cook. And all of that was, I love going out and saying, okay, what are we eating for dinner tonight? And I'm talking to my garden. And then whatever I come in with, that's what we eat. Next slide. And then also I paired this with, next slide, please, food foraging. One thing I like about gardening, it helps me to recognize the food that's all around us. Because before we planted stuff, even if you think about it, go back to Adam and Chava. The Most High placed them in a garden that was already there. He's placed us in a garden, and I'm using the word lightly. Anyone know the word garden, the Hebrew word for garden? It's gan. Gimel, nun, 2 letters, gan, yes. He already placed them. He already had a gan there. All right, so we're going to, and after this, because I think they're on their way, they're still working on the cookout, but I'll take a quickie little walk. I have identified just a few medicinal plants on the property, so we can go and do some foraging afterwards. I'm getting more and more comfortable actually eating the stuff that I forage. And I've even foraged some wild mushrooms. I don't like doing that. I took a mycology class in college, and he just drilled at us all the horrible ways to die from eating wild mushrooms. But only 2% of them kill you. So that leaves 98% to eat. And I did do 2. I've harvested 2 wild mushrooms, and there are some out there, and I think they're edible, but I'm not gonna find out on this trip if they are or aren't. And if you know better, hey, maybe you could teach me some stuff too. Next slide, please. All right, do you know what growing zone you're in? Do you live in? Who knows? Raise your hand. Raise it high. Uh-oh. Okay. One of those people who knows what growing zone you live in, tell me why it's important if you want to grow food to know what zone you're living. For weather. Tell me more. The millions of dollars? Yes. Okay, she said, if there's, I didn't hear the type of palm, but there was a palm, she said, pie. That's what I thought you said. Spell that. Oh, I don't know that one. If you want a Piru palm from Africa, South Africa, and you want to know if it's going to grow in your yard, you need to know what zone you're in. For example, I have moringa, a dwarf moringa. And well, I had a dwarf moringa, and I knew that it wasn't in my zone. And there are ways to get around that too, because there are things that I grow that technically should not survive in my zone, but there are ways you can get them to survive. So there's a map, and it's changing because the climate is changing. But everybody, you need to start here. If you want to grow stuff outside, start with this map. See where you are. It not only does it tell you your temperatures, the highs and lows. It tells you. And use the farmer's almanac to see your frost dates beginning and ending. So it tells you when your first frost is, when it's likely that things will start to freeze, and when it's likely that things will stop to freeze in the spring. Next slide. And there's a link there. But just go to www.almanac.com. Okay, so what we're going to do is, I've done this a whole bunch of different ways. I'm going to do it a little differently. We're just going to have a conversation, and I'm just going to ask you a bunch of questions. And here's my challenge, and I want you to call me on it. I want to say that everybody's going to learn something they didn't know in this class. If by the end I did not say something you didn't know, you tell me you didn't say anything I didn't know, and I will find something that you didn't know about growing that I can share with you, okay? All right, so which one of those plants in my hand is an annual? The pineapple sage, the heal all, the butterfly pea, or the lemon balm? Yes, sir. The butterfly pea. Anybody want to stand with him? Anyone disagree with him? And yes, what do you think? The lemon balm. What do you think? The lemon balm. Anybody have something different? So far I'm hearing the butterfly pea. What? Did I hear a third one? The pineapple sage, yes, back there? Okay. My fellow drummer, what's your name, Ak? Cocoon? Cocoon. You are correct. The pineapple pea is the annual. What does that mean, Cocoon? Yeah, what does that mean? Yes, it needs to be planted annually, okay? It does not come and stay. Wait, I'm not trying to fix. Wait. Okay, sorry. All right, do you all have containers? Oh, you do? Okay, so I'm going to pass a lot of stuff. I used to try and bring a bunch of stuff, but this was very far to travel, and our car was full. So if you have paper, you can make envelopes, or because I have seeds and I have wet plants. So I'm going to pass out, this is not butterfly pea, but this is what the Caribbean people call callaloo. Who knows what callaloo is? Okay, callaloo. Now, I don't even know. I think it's an annual in the Caribbean too. Definitely over here. In the Americas, anybody know what they call it? It has another name. This is green amaranth. And let me just say, there's a lot of different types of callaloo depending on which country, your island you're from. I'm from St. Kitts. This is the St. Kitts version. So I'm going to start this bag on this side, but don't worry, the next one I'll start on that side. And it's very messy. These are the seed pods. So when you try and break them, they're going to put a whole bunch of stuff on the table. So just know, please clean that up. Don't have them talk bad about me because y'all were messy. Okay, so just put it in your some paper towel or a napkin and fold it up and make yourself a little envelope. Okay? So this is callaloo. I eat the greens. But you can also eat the seeds. I haven't gotten there yet, and it's an annual. All right, next slide, please. By the way, but this is what a butterfly pea looks like, and there are peas on the property. They're not butterfly peas, but they are peas. And Dr. Grant, are you still here? Dr. Halaka's not here. Oh, and there's my dwarf moringa. It didn't come back this year because I left it outside. I leave it outside because the bugs like it too. The inside bugs. The bugs come in with it, and I can't get rid of them, and I don't like them in my house. So last year I left it outside, and it didn't come back. But this butterfly pea, it makes blue butterfly pea juice, and it's cool. I like it, and it's medicinal. Please don't ask me what it does. It does so much. It does so much. You have Google at your fingertips. Look it up, okay? Most of the things that you'll see in my presentations that I grow are anti-inflammatory because that's what I need. I have two, I forgot the name. Not vibranium. Yeah, I have two vibranium knees and a vibranium foot. So I need anti-inflammatories, and I think butterfly pea is that, among other things. All the other ones, once you plant them, they'll come back year after year. The pineapple sage and the lemon balm, I have lemon balm to share. And the heal all, I think what the heal all does, it just drops seeds again and it comes back. Next slide. Oh, I need some timers. I need someone to, I need a timer. Thank you. Tell me, we started at 2. I have to be done at 3:30. Give me half-hour time. Well, let's start, tell me at 2:30, 3:15, and 3:30. Hakman, you got that? Yes, you got it? 3:15. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Put in a shameless plug for myself. This slide is from a class that I teach here at GAI. It's called Growing Greatness, Cultivating Cures and Making Medicines. And I talk about a bunch of plants, and I do talk about what we learn about what they're good for. So here's the slide, and it tells you what it's good for. And I don't know. When you look at this, does this just nod yes or no? Does the flower remind you of a body part? It should. Oh wait, yeah. The genus name should give you a hint. Every creature has a scientific name, the genus and the species. The genus, and whenever you see italicized, the italicized capital is the genus, the italicized lowercase is the species, and I do that because people will call it hyssop. There's so many different hyssops. There's a hyssop in the Bible, and I've seen brews talking about selling hyssop, and when I ask them the scientific name, it's not real hyssop, so I have scientific names. So you could see in the genus name, I don't know if that's what you thought it looked like, but it does. Next slide. Oregano. This is another, is it an annual? Oh, did I tell you what it's called if it's not an annual? Perennial. So this is a perennial. I guess I'll have to just, and I believe I brought some. This grows really well in the garden. I have 2 types. I have the Greek and the Italian. The Greek one lays down and the Italian one stands up. I'm looking for the seeds. It spreads slowly, and you know it does a bunch of things for you. Yes. If you want to just sniff the bag, you can. So, a little bit of plant biology. Ooh. I'm looking for flowers. I picked some flowers, but that was almost a week ago. So you can see how it grows. And again, remember, this is going to be messy. Can you help me, please? This bag is open as possible. I'm just pulling off one so you can see. These are mostly seed heads. But here's some of the leaves. Thank you. And I guess all the this has flowers, but they're no longer pink. I mean, they're no longer yellow. So the green, the faded green are the leaves. And at the end, you would have the flower stalks. And after the flower comes the seed. And the seeds are what you would plant. You can dry and eat this whole thing. And that's mostly true of most herbs, even though people just eat the leaves, you can also eat the seeds. So these are matured seed heads. You have a question?
How does it taste?
Oregano?
Oh,
This is oregano. So this is the difference between herbs and plants. Are herbs, you don't usually make a meal out of them. You add them to something to flavor your meals. So it has a very strong flavor. I don't know if anybody's just eating straight up oregano, but this year I learned that parsley, which I use as an herb, makes tabula. Tabula. And so now I use it as a salad green. So these are the seeds, and they're so tiny. You're thinking these are the seeds, but I don't know if you want to take a picture. There are little black dots on my hands. Those are the seeds. Teeny, tiny pinprint. So don't try and pick out the seeds. Just take a handful and know that there are going to be some seeds in there. Yes. These are oregano.
This is so good.
Would you hold that for me, please? So we're going to take all these seeds and put, you know what? I'm going to let this table have those seeds. And I'm going to start this bag on this side. So y'all pass the bag. Am I starting here? And here's my oreganos. Next slide, please. So it shows you a lot of the stuff that it does. Oreganos are great for antifungal, antibacterial, all that good stuff. They're pretty. They're in the garden. I have a dehydrator. So here's what they look like. Here's the leaves. Here are the flowers, white or yellow. Here are the seed pods. And then here's what I cut them off the leaves, and I put them on my dehydrator tray. I put them in my dehydrator till they're dry, and then I make Abigail's Italian seasoning, which is oregano, thyme, and basil. Yes, ma'am? There's always a difference between store-bought and homegrown. Can't tell you what that is. For example, how many of you buy collard greens from the store? Collard greens. Would you make a sandwich wrap out of raw collard greens? No. Why not? Too tough. I ain't never had that problem with my collard greens. I eat them raw. I take them, and the leaves are huge, and I put whatever, and I roll them up, and I eat them just like that, no problem. So there are differences between what you grow at home and what you grow and what you get from the store. Sometimes it's the type. I don't know what kind of collard greens they're coming from. I don't know. But yes, there's a difference, and I can't tell you what the difference is because there's so many possible differences. Yes, ma'am? Same thing with kale. Mm-hmm. And you can grow kale indoors. I've grown it indoors. Yes, ma'am?
I feel like why it's different is because it's processed way differently and like we put different things other than what's natural inside. So
Yes.
it changes the way.
Yes, it is true. And that's definitely true of our animals. Our animals are definitely processed a lot more than our plants. Next slide, please. This is my old house, and this is the sequence. 1, 2, 3. I hope you can see where. So here's the arbor. This, by the way, is called cattle panel. You can buy it for me, I buy it at Tractor Supply. It's 16 feet long and 52 inches tall. So that's just over 4 feet. And these are T-posts that I, bang into the ground, and then I attach it. My husband likes to use zip ties. I like to use wire because they're finding plastic in placenta. They're finding plastic in your brain. They're finding plastic in our bodies when we didn't eat them. So now, if you have a choice between, because I am an advocate for, go to Publix. In my neck of the woods, Wednesday is the day that they do icing, and they do, what's that icing, this yellow? Cream cheese icing. So they have free 4-gallon icing buckets that they throw away. And if you ask them, they will give them to you. And ladies, be careful. Where's my husband? He's not here. If you have a kind of cute husband who likes to help, I don't like to go in. I used to ask by my job. They would call me. But I asked my husband to do it now. And so when he comes home with his buckets, they're washed and they're clean. I'm like, what's the name? And they know him by name. And he don't believe me when I tell him they're giving him extra treatment. They ain't never washed my buckets. But buckets, Publix, ice, and not just Publix, grocery stores, Kroger, icing buckets. What else buckets? Pickles come in 5-gallon buckets. Those are food grade. Those are great to grow in. So yes, I'm growing the ground. But if you're in a house, that's not yours, if you're in an apartment, if you're in whatever, you got bad soil, if they treat your soil with chemicals and you need a bucket to grow it in, growing in a bucket is better than not growing at all. Okay? So if you have a choice, plastic shouldn't be the choice. But if your choice is grow in plastic or don't grow in plastic until you can do better. So this is an arbor. Do you see what I'm putting on the ground here? Cardboard. Do you know what this is called? I'll give you a hint. It's going to be one of those. This type of growing. Mulching. I hear a vote for B. Anybody else? Mulching too. What? Square foot gardening. Anybody else? All right, the two this is mulching and lasagna gardening because you put layers on top of layers. So this is, I don't till. I'm not going to get into all the reasons, multiple reasons why I don't till. That is in my lessons from the garden class. But it's in the scripture. It is. That slide is coming up. It is in the scripture. And we're going to look, that's going to come later. I don't till. I put stuff on top. Who's tilling the forest? I'm trying to build a food forest. Who tills the food forest? That's not what the Most High does. So tilling, I don't do. Mulching is when you put stuff on top. Lasagna gardening is pretty much the same. Mulching just means you're putting a covering on top. Lasagna means it's usually several covers and they're different things. I do both. Intercropping is what happens in the Garden of Eden. Well, Scripture says that you're not supposed to mix your fields you're not supposed to mix your seeds with fields. These aren't fields. These are gardens. Garden of Eden, it was mixed. Forest, it's mixed. Now, I'm not a farmer. Farmers grow crops to sell. That's not me. Okay? So, and I'm not, no hate against farmers. Somebody's got to grow our food. But that's not my lane. That's not what I'm here to teach you. Okay? All right. Square foot gardening is when you put one plant in a square foot because you can grow a lot more in small spaces than you think. You don't have to believe everything you read in the little seed packets. Keyhole gardening, I guess will come up later. There's not a picture. There's not a good picture. And straw bale gardening, there's not a picture in here. Next slide. By the way, I'm in Georgia, so if you're wondering where am I growing all this stuff, Georgia. Covington, Atlanta-ish. I'm growing a raised bed for the first time in early spring, and this was me moving my bed from here to there. So this was land that was just grass, and the prior owners didn't grow anything on the property. So this is straight up Georgia red clay. What should I plant first and why? Corn, mint, peas, tomatoes, watermelon. What am I planting first on ground that's never had anything on it before? I heard corn. What else? Watermelon, peas, mint. Some people tell you never put mint in your garden. Mint spreads. Never put mint in a raised bed. I got mint in my garden. But you put mint on the outskirts, away from everything else, so where it can do what it wants to do, which is spread. But you don't put it in a place where you're going to put stuff that it's going to compete with, because it'll probably outcompete them. The best answer is, I did hear it. One of these is a nitrogen fixer. It puts nitrogen into the soil. Peas. Peas and beans are nitrogen fixers. They help the soil. In fact, it's not really the plant themselves. They have a symbiotic relationship with bacteria. If you've ever pulled the roots out, you'll see little white balls on them. Those are the homes where the bacteria live, the nitrogen-fixing bacteria. And everybody take a breath. Exhale it. What percent of that breath that you inhaled was nitrogen? Good. Nobody can say that I didn't teach you nothing, because you don't got the I don't hear the answer yet. So there it is right now. What percent of every breath you take, every move you make is nitrogen? Nope. 3, nope. 13, nope. 78%. 78% of every breath you take is nitrogen. We can't use it. We need the bacteria to fix it for us. To fix it, okay, let's say that you were at an event and you needed a soda and there was a soda machine and you had a $50 bill. Are you getting a soda? Why, do you have enough money for a soda? So why ain't you going to get a soda? It don't take 50s. You need it to be fixed. So fix is just changing it into a form that you can use. And that's what the bacteria does. All right, so peas and beans and peanuts and clover and a few other things will fix the nitrogen. So I always start with every year, every spring and every fall, I plant peas. Even though I don't eat them, I have now become, I have some sort of allergy when I eat peas. When I put them in my mouth starts to itch, and my throat almost closes. I can eat them cooked, but I can't put them in my mouth anymore. But I still grow them. Yes, sir?
Does it matter which peas, like field peas or...
No. Then it's just about your preference. And I have peas to pass around. Okay. Who did I do last time? I did that side. These are, anyone know what kind of peas these are? These are a type of cowpeas. Black-eyed peas are a type of cowpeas. Okay, these grow on a vine. Typically, peas are round, and beans are irregularly shaped. It's probably too late for you to eat this raw. Don't break your teeth. But usually peas, when they're green, you can still eat them in their pods. Same thing with beans, okay? Don't ask me what kind of cowpeas these are, because I grow so many different types. I don't know. But let me show you. And you guys I don't want to go home with any of this stuff, so take enough. So when you crack this open, would you hold that for me, please? Can I use your hand? That's all I want you to do. Thank you. Part. Just part. That's good. You can have those. So you'll crack it open, and there'll be peas in here. Each one of these can produce a plant. These peas, like all my peas that I'm bringing you, are climbers. They're pole peas. Pole. Remember, I don't like getting down, get low. I can't do that. So I grow things on trellises. So these, you can grow them if you don't have a trellis, but then they'll just be a hump of stuff and you'll have to go through them. So I grow them on trellises. So those are cowpeas. These peas like it hot. So most peas, you can put them in the spring and the fall and they'll grow. Not these. You can plant them now. They ain't going to do nothing until it gets warm again. Okay? So these kind that I'm giving you, these cowpeas, they like it hot. But most peas like it cool and beans like it hot. Yes, sir. No, green beans are beans because they're irregularly shaped. Yes, and if you don't, I grow green beans and they don't never, I don't eat them off the pod. I got too much stuff to grow. They be staying there for months and months and months and months. In fact, I got some of those too. And you'll see they were out there so long that they started to grow mold on the outside because they're like, aren't you going to pick us? What's up with you? You don't even, I give that stuff away. So at that point, once they're past the green bean stage, then you get them as beans, and then you would cook them, then you would have to cook them long. Yeah, and that's why I like their multi-purpose fruit. You can eat them at many stages of their development. Next slide. Succession planting is planting different crops in the same place over time. So I use peas to succession crop because they start with the peas, and then when it gets hot, they turn brown. I rip them up or cut them down, and I put something else in that same spot. And now that spot is better because it has nitrogen in it. It's nitrogen rich. So I do a lot of succession planting where I will use that same spot multiple times in a season. And let me say this up front. Most people say, well, you grow in the summertime. How many of you grow in the wintertime? Let me ask you this. How many of you eat in the wintertime? Well, you eating in the wintertime. You need to be growing in the wintertime too. Okay? All right, next slide, please. Must go faster. Next slide. So I am sorry, I do not have any asparagus beans to share with you. I love these beans. Look how long they are. One thing I don't like about green beans is I got to pick them, and so I got 4 green beans that were ripe. What am I going to do with 4 green beans? But if I got 4 of these, I got a meal. Okay, so these, I didn't get a whole lot of these this year. Again, they like it when it's hot, but I like them. And then here are the ones I didn't get to in time, so I just let them dry, and now I have seeds for next year. So always leave yourself seeds for next year, so you do sustainability planting. So here, and this was very interesting. I had to learn. I'm always learning lessons. I am by trade a science teacher. 31 years, 3 months in science education. Can't believe everything you read in a book. These ants are protectors. These beans make things called extrafloral nectaries, and it's sort of like, it just went out my head. What they do is they make sweet stuff to lure these ants, and then these ants defend the beans. So whenever I pick these beans, I gotta flick the ants first. I don't kill them, I just flick them. I flick them, and to be honest, I've never been bitten by these ants. But I'm not trying to entertain that thought either. So I flick them, and then I pick the bean, and I want them to stay there because I want them to eat the caterpillars that want to eat my stuff. Next slide. Next slide. And I have pole. Here they are. I'm going to give them to you, but you need to pass them that way. These are green beans. I know they don't look like green beans, but these are green beans that I didn't pick when they were green beans, so now they look like this. But in the pod are green beans. So beans are annuals. You think you have to plant them every year, but guess what? If you don't plant them every year and you don't pick them every year, they'll plant themselves. So that's why I have a whole lot of cowpeas this year, because they planted themselves, because I didn't pick them last year, and now they're growing in places where I didn't plant them. Okay, I'm growing a Three Sisters garden in an established bed. Which one should I plant first? I heard peas. Corn. Who knows what a Three Sisters garden is? What do you know? My well-traveled sister getting, what kind of palm? It is. It is. And what's the third sister? Fish. They put that in the soil as fertilizer. That's not the third sister. It's something you could eat.
Tomato.
What you said the first time, what'd you say? Watermelon. What were you going to say, sweetheart? You were right. Yeah, she read your mind. I knew you had the answer first. Yes, and the cucurbit. Cucurbit. A cucurbit is a gourd, a cucumber, a squash, a watermelon, a cantaloupe. Those are all cucurbits. So in the case of the three sisters, and I don't have time to go into all of this, but this is Native Americans that would plant these together. They plant the corn first because that's the stalk that the greens are going to grow around. And then once the corn has gotten and corns are heavy feeders, so you want to already have had fertilizer in the ground for the corn to grow. And say again? Yes, you could put the fishes as fertilizer. Yes. Yes. I save all of I save my chicken and fish bones, and then I make phosphate and what's the other P? Thank you. Potassium and phosphate fertilizer. And no, well, I don't have any cows. I have chickens though. But I don't see the chicken bones and the fish bones that I ate then go in the crock pot with a little bit of vinegar to decrease the pH, to increase the absorption of those nutrients in the soil. I'm not going to get the chicken manure and put it in my crock pot. Yeah, the chicken manure stays outside. Yes, and I don't have cows, and I used to buy, and I don't get subsidized by anybody. I used to buy, I was gonna say mad cow, but that's not right. I used to buy black cow, thank you, in the yellow bag. But I'm in a lot of gardening groups, and I've read some stuff, and I know people are having problems with it, and nothing beats my chicken manure. That thing is power. I love my chicken manure, so I don't buy. Mad cow is still in my head. Black cow anymore. All right, so we did that. So companion planting is when you plant different types of plants together because they help each other. Next slide. So there are plants you should plant together and plants you shouldn't plant together, but I don't have time to talk about that. But you could take my lessons from the gardens class and we'll talk about that. Loofah. Y'all know what loofah is? Oh, man. I wasn't supposed to say loofah. I was supposed to say, what is this? You're so smart. That's the way that was supposed to go down, and I just jumped ahead of myself. And now I want you to tell me something about my life. You about to learn something about me. I need some help. Come help me, sweetheart. Yeah. I need you to do that to your hand. You got that? You got that? And you got that? And you got that? And you got that? And you got that? Now, I'm going to let you choose. We can go on to this one. You can choose who gets those. Let them wave and let them offer you. Where's mom? Who's your mom? I know you probably can't have candy. What can she have? What can they lure her with? If you got something to give this little girl, lure her over to you to get one of these a loofah, and she'll bring you a loofah. Just go ahead and take them to whoever. Take them to whoever. So, what does this tell you about me? I got a lot of loofahs. This is what it looks like, or when you're about to get, because you won't probably know loofah as a what? Those bath sponges, right? Does this look a little bit more familiar? I need a trash can. Once you start taking off, the outside skin, I need an older volunteer. Could you peel it at least halfway and just put that in the thing? So this one started turning brown in the vine. You want to wait, all of those who have young ones, you need to wait for them to get brown. And so this one's still not ready, but it's almost ready. This is how I know it's almost ready. Can you hear? I have a better example. So this one's almost ready. I didn't know how ready this one was till I put it in my container, and it went all to the bottom, and I started seeing stuff on the ground. But this should. All right, I already messed up that table. I'm gonna mess up this table. Wait, who wants some loofah seeds? All right, everybody look this way. You got something to put them in? Oh yeah, I see. Okay. You ready to catch? You young. You can get lower than me. You can get low, get low. This is what happens. Now, I did not do anything to this. This did it by itself. Well, no, when I put it in the crate, it busted the bottom. And this is what happens. Oh. I counted these once at a thing like this, 104. Okay? So, you said you wanted loofah seeds? You want to take those? Is that enough? Or do you want what's left in here? Would you like this? Okay, you're going to have to plug up the bottom because there's more seeds in there. All right. You can eat them when they're this long. About hand span. They're stringy. That's right. If you eat them after this long, you're going to be chewing along and you're going to spit that stuff out. So about 5 inches, you can eat them and they're good. They're like salty yellow squash. I like them for breakfast. So, and the bugs don't bother them. Because I have a lot of those leaf-footed bugs and stink bugs and squash bugs eat up my stuff, especially in the summertime. Like I can get a first crop in the very early before they wake up, but then I'm fighting them the rest of the summer. It hasn't always been that way, but it's getting worse. They don't eat this. Or if they do, they don't eat it to the point where it doesn't produce, as you saw, because I didn't bring a third of what I had hanging. I just tried to get the ones that were closer to being brown for you guys. Okay? So, and I'm thinking, when we get to the point, all right, now this is just Abigail. This is not, I'm not going to quote no scripture, whatever. We know that we're going to be on the run. We know we're going to be in the wilderness. But I think that before that happens, we're going to be in house arrest. We're going to be home, but there's still going to be no law and order. I don't want, and I believe some other stuff about how nature's going to hide my house, but that's a whole other issue. You don't want to grow stuff that people know is food. And when they see that, they're not going to know what that is or what to do with that. And they go, so I grow a lot of stuff that's not traditional food, that is edible and that will still give nutrition to my family. Next slide. So this is, this loofah is an aggressive grower, so it took over my arbor, and I was trying to grow some other stuff in the arbor, so I no longer grow them on my arbors. I had to fence in I have multiple gardens. I grow stuff everywhere, literally. But because of deer, I had to make a fenced garden to grow things that the deer were eating. So this is just some roll-out 5-foot wire that's stuck to some, maybe there'll be a picture later, some 5-foot T-posts, and I grow my loofah on that now because it was just the border. All right, and see, not only is it edible, look at what it does for us. That's the Most High Yah. I said to this gentleman right here, we talk about superfoods. It's almost all superfoods. It's super till we start processing it. Then it's no longer super. but almost everything in its natural form has multiple good things that it does for us in our bodies. So we need to go back, grow our own, and then eat it as close to natural, sometimes raw, as possible. Next slide. I still have 3 loofah seeds in my hand. Anybody want them? You're welcome. And there's some more in that crate afterwards as well. Why does my corn look like this? Not every one of my stories is a success story. Yeah, I still grow corn that looks like this. Anybody know why? It's a mole? No. And there is I don't want to say the name wrong. It sounds something to the effect of, I know this is going to sound like something else, lakuchi. There is a fungus that grows on foil that's a delicacy. That's not what this is. Anybody know why this looks like this? Yes. Probably bugs. Okay. Anybody else want to weigh in? Yes? Overwatering, yes? Okay, which has happened, which is why if you're a new gardener, I say start with plants. Don't buy seeds and then put the seed in the ground and then spend 3 months taking care of that plant and come to find out it's a weed. I had to break an Ema's heart once at my last assembly. They brought in something. She showed me this plant. She was so proud growing. And I was like, I knew what kind of weed it was, too. I was like, Mama, that's actually a such and such. She was like, no, but I planted such and such in that spot. I'm like, I'm sure you did. But that's not what that is. So for your first time, I would always start with the plant, and then you'll get to know what it looks like. You'll get to know what it smells like. Yes, smell your plants. You'll get to know how it changes over time, because they look different at different stages of their development. All right, because I got so much, I'm just going to, let's just go to the next slide, because I think I answered it in the next slide. Oh, let's go back. I didn't answer it. It's in one of these slides. Corn, okay, most of us, when we've seen gardens, how do you plant your garden? You plant your gardens like most teachers seat their students in their classrooms in the U.S. in rows, nice little neat rows, right? Corn cross-pollinates. If you have a whole row of corn, the only corn that it can pollinate with is its neighbors. Corn is planted best in grids, 4x4 grids. 1, 2, 3, 4 seeds, 1, 2, 3, 4. You understand what I'm saying? 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have a patch of corn. And this way, it's not in this picture, but the tops of the corn can cross-pollinate each other. This is what happens when your corn didn't get full pollination. So then you're not going to have as many kernels in your ears as you would if you had full pollination. Okay, next slide. What? Question? What do you mean, what are your options? Oh, yes, underplanting. Yes. Thank you. Good looking out, bro. He had me covered. Pineapple sage. This one's a little bit different. This is where you'll need your containers. Yeah, it's had a rough trip, and it ran out of water. Some of these actually have roots on them. This is one of these plants that if you take cuttings of them, you can get them to root about 50% of the time, so I brought some. You can also get this most of the blossoms have fallen off. It makes these pretty red flowers. The hummingbirds really like them. It's very nice tasting. It's a nice tea. So there are the stuff that it does. Whose turn is it? I don't know. I'm going to start over here. So this will need to go in water and try and get it to make roots before you actually plant it somewhere. and they tend to like water. So if you have a very dry climate and you're not going to be committed to watering that plant, then you don't need to not take it because they like water. Next slide. I'm going to try succession planting to extend my corn harvest. How should I plant my first seed? I knew it was in there somewhere. How should I plant my first seeds, my first corn seeds? So you all better get this answer right. East side. What? Did I hear west side? South side. You might as well say the well, I don't know how to make an N. Something like that. Is that right? Or is it backwards? Is it that way? Or that way? Which side? All right, so it sounds like you've all agreed a 4x4 grid, okay? Which tends to be the sunniest side of your property? The south side. The south side. If you take the lessons from the garden class, you will grid you'll look at the sun map of your property and see where it gets the most sun, and know that it changes throughout the year and it changes throughout the day. But unless you have something on the south side, like another house taller than yours, the south side almost always gets the best sun, both outside and inside, in your inside windows, south side. Next slide. Oh, wait. So this is what the property looked like in the wintertime. And this is what it looked like filled in, I think, July. I actually took a time lapse of this. I don't remember when this was. It's not on there, is it? On one of the pictures it's labeled, but this one's not labeled. This is some in the winter. And then this is July. Next slide. Which edible flower is pictured in this meal? No. This is the edible flower that I'm talking about. This is its wild cousin. Somebody said it. That's a pansy. And not because it's pansy, but it's pansy. That's my favorite flower. It looks like little faces on them. Tastes like licorice. I don't like licorice, but I like to eat that. And so you can get that now probably. It's coming up soon in the stores. It's a winter flower. It's one of the few flowers that you'll see in the winter. And these are, they're not lavender. They're purple, but they're not. Nope, they're not lilacs. Nope, they're not Sweet William. Sweet William doesn't come in purple that I know of. Pinks and reds and whites, no purple. It's not over there because this was which edible flower is pictured in this meal. That's that. This is a different question. What is this? This is violet. This is wild violet. Wild violet. Next slide. So this is edible too, and I know a lot of people make jams and jellies out of wild violet. Next slide. What plant typically grown for its tuberous roots is pictured here? What plant is that? And is also here. And also there. It looks like a morning glory. The flower looks like a morning glory. But this is harvested typically for its tubers. We had some yesterday for lunch. It was delish. Nope. What kind? Sweet potato. A sweet potato is not a potato. A sweet potato is not a potato, okay? Two completely different types of plants. I know they got potato. Is a starfish a star? Is it a fish? No. A sweet potato is not a potato, okay? That's why we need to leave the Babylonian language alone and learn our native language. Is not so confusing. Sweet potatoes and potatoes are not the same. Was there a question? Somebody had a question. This is a sweet potato vine, and if you go to the motherland, you can, in fact, in some grocery stores, not grocery stores, in farmers markets here, they sell it. The vines are edible. I don't want to say, the leaves are edible. The vines are edible, but they're stringy. I pluck the leaves off. And so it grows up. And it produces more tubers when you pluck the vines, because it's storing its energy because it doesn't think it has enough energy. I had to learn that the hard way. I used to grow them in the ground like everybody else, and I had this huge patch. It was the size of this square. You see the size of this square? This square goes from here to there, to there, to there, back there. Huge patch. Oh, well, I'm going to have some sweet potatoes. So when it came time to dig up the sweet potatoes, I dug, and I pulled up, and I dug, and I pulled up, and I dug, and I pulled up, and I had like 3 sweet potatoes in that whole patch. I just let it take over the garden because I was going to eat some sweet potatoes. I'm like, where am I? And I was talking to another gardener, and they said the same thing. And then I noticed, completely by accident, in my new property, before I put the fence up, where the deer were eating the sweet potatoes, the vines that were most heavily eaten, and I grow my sweet potatoes mostly in cardboard boxes, was full of sweet potatoes. And then my biology kicked in. It's like, oh, that's right, because there's storage. They're storing food. If everything's happy and they're growing, everything's good up top, they have no reason to store. So picking them and eating them as greens is also good for having them produce storage. What they taste like? They're spinach-y. I don't eat them raw because they're hairy. They're not super hairy, but they're too hairy for me. So I'll cook them, and I don't usually cook them as spinach. I'll cook them, I'll put them, if I'm making soup, that's my green in the soup. Okay? And they're very pretty to look at. And they say the flowers are edible, but for whatever reason, I don't eat the flowers because I like to look at them. Next slide. There's till. Okay, so in Genesis, in Bereshit 2:5, it says, every plant in the field before it was in the eretz, and every herb of the field before it grew, for Yahuwah, Eluah, had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to abide the ground. What was the question? Which of the following is not a likely translation of that word till? Pick one. Is it not serve, not dress, or not break up? Y'all been spending enough time with me. You should know what the answer is because I talked about it. When you hear till, when Babylon hears till, what do? They break it up. That's the answer that it's not. It's not ever translated as break up. It is translated to serve the ground. I think in this one is to dress. Well, no, it's all. Click this, click. Let's see what's on the other side if I give you the words. Next slide. Oh, it doesn't tell you. Okay. So tilling, look it up. Use your blue letter Bible, look it up. Breaking up is not one of the words for till. Yes, ma'am? I saw. Thank you. Oh, here it is. Thank you. I was like, I think I put it on there. So y'all know how to use your concordances? So the word is, in this case, the word is till. I looked up till. The Hebrew word is abad. The Strong's number is H5647. It's used in the KJV no, it doesn't say how many times. It's used in the KJV, looks like around 300 times. 227 of those times, abad is translated as serve. Till is only, you see it? 9 of those times is it translated as till. And if you want to look at the pictographs of the words abad, ayin, beit, dalet, and here's the meaning, here's my word sentences. To watch, abad is, and I'm sorry, it doesn't show the pictographs, but ayin is the eye. So watch for planning. Beit is not just a house, beit is that house plan. So watch for planning your home's comings. And dalet is the door. It's how you get in and out. So if you looked at the pictograph, you can come up with watch for planning our home's comings and goings, or pay attention to the plan for access. That's till, from a Hebrew perspective. perspective. Next slide. Next slide. What part of the elderberry is edible? What part of the elderberry is edible? Yes. I like. She said berries only. I like that answer. I need a medium-sized person. All right, I'll say this differently. I brought some plastic containers if y'all want some. So you're okay with carrying it around? Whoever, somebody come, or just put it in the back and whoever wants, you can take those. Because I have huh? You can't have the crate, but you can have the stuff inside the crate. You could just put it in the back, or if somebody waves. What's your name, sweetheart? London. If somebody would like a bottle from London to put the elderberries in, just raise your hand. So the only two parts of the elderberry that are edible, one was said by, what's your name, sweetheart? Chava. Ahava. Love. Ahava was correct, the berries and the flowers. Somebody in the back wants one. The flowers. And they must be cooked. This is a plant I didn't grow for decades because I ain't got time to be cooking and stuff and making wine and doing all this preparation and dehydrating. And I need to go outside, pick it, put it in my mouth. Good, we good. So I didn't say no elderberry until before my vibranium knees. I was in a lot of pain, and I heard that elderberry helped. And this Hebrew brother gave me some wine, and I promise you, within 20 minutes, 80% of my pain was gone. I'm like, nah. I'm like, Miss Cleo. I was like, that's some Miss Cleo. Nah, let me do it again. Let me drink. That was. I'm gonna try, because Miss Cleo, she would read like horoscopes. You write, but what you say is true of everybody. So I did it again. It got rid of the pain again. That's what made me decide I need elderberry in my life. Now, I did also make my own elderberry wine. I did ask the brother for his recipe. He shared what he did. I made my wine. It did not have the same effect on my body as his wine. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't work. But for whatever reason, that's why I started buying it. Growing it. This is elderberry with the flowers. Only the berries and the flowers are edible. I've seen other information, but more of the information says it's not than it does. Yes, ma'am. Where do you live, sweetheart? Ahaba. Oh, Las Vegas. Okay. What kind? Are you keeping the ground moist? They should have come up by now. Don't worry, I got some more sunflower seeds from big sunflowers, and you can try with those. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. It needs to be. Most of you, if you're in a place where you have winter, now is not the time to be planting sunflowers. But if you're in a place where it's warm year round, yes. Yes, question in the back? What part? The leaves don't. Oh, okay. Yes, it helped me. That's why I started using it. It's possible. I don't know. I've tried, and I no longer make elderberry wine. The only thing I make with elderberries now is elderberry juice. And usually elderberry is known for its, for colds, for upper respiratory type stuff. But elderberry flowers taste like a healthy funnel cake. Take the flowers, pick them in the daytime, get some baking powder, not baking soda. That doesn't taste good. I made that mistake. Baking powder and a fizzy drink. So my fizzy drinks, I have mushroom cola. So fizzy drinks, and a little bit of powdered sugar. And so you make a batter, you dip it in the batter, you fry it, just a minute, have it hot, have the oil hot. Fry it until it looks like a funnel cake, take it out, sprinkle on the powdered sugar. It is so good. It is so good. You can also make elderflower cordial. You know what cordial is? Cordial is wannabe wine. Yeah, cordial is fuzzy and fizzy. Like with the pine needles, how do you know about that? Yes. So cordial has a lower alcohol content, and it's fuzzy and it's nice. And you can also, I made that. I love the smell of elderflowers. Next slide. So, and that's the best, while I'm passing around if you got an elderberry, put it in water. Don't just put it in a wet paper towel. Put it in water here. Fill it up. Go get some water. Yeah, put it in water. What I like about elderberry, on the north side of my property, I have I'm growing a hedge, and all of those elderberries there that are taking over, I cut them from the south side where I purchased elderberries and planted them and gave them love. And let me tell you about that. So that same brother, he gave me some of his elderberries. He just had some clippings, and they were in dirt. And I got, all these clippings in these in these Walmart bags. And I put them in my backyard. And they stayed there for the whole winter in one of my little pool thingies where they were waterlogged. And I was like, in the springtime, I'm cleaning up. I'm like, oh, man. All right. I screwed up before. So I was going to go throw them out because they smelled, you know what wet soil smells like? Just like wet forever. They don't smell good. So I was going to throw that stuff out. They had roots. I ain't throw them out. Elderberry like their feet wet. A lot of time you'll find them in ditches where the water is. So I cut them. I walk over to the other side of the property. And when I cut them at an angle so they have a point. And I hold them close to the bottom, and I push them I like to do it after rain because the ground is soft, and I push them in the ground, and I walk away. And now I have a whole second elderberry border. So I don't struggle with those elderberry plants. I cut them, I put them in the ground, I walk away. So they're not that, where's Tehila. I know, that's not her name, but that's how I remember her. It reminds me of that. Do you have a success story you'd like to share about elderberry? That's you, right? That was you. Tikwa. Oh, see, I still got it wrong. Sorry, Tikwa. I was still stuck with the what you call. You have 15 seconds.
So, unfortunately, my elderberry succumbed to,
But tell them before it succumbed what happened.
Yes. So it actually was great because it blooms very quickly. Like it propagated, the children got to actually see it before we planted it, which was nice. So it was like a family project. We started it indoors, put it outdoors, and we got to see it until something unfortunately took it. So, like. No. Well, yeah. So I don't know if it was an animal or, They gnawed at the.
She didn't tell me this part of the story.
They gnawed it. So
You took the class, right? Yes, and that's how she kind of got the elderberry because she took lessons from the garden.
Okay. Yes, the class is great because I actually had just given up on gardening because I tried to grow things indoors, and bugs just kept taking over. The first time fungus gnats, the second time were ants. It's just like like I was like, I'm just not destined to grow. And then I took her class, and we actually had to grow something as part of the class. So through the class, we started things indoors, and we grew peas. We grew the elderberry came through the class, and then CJ, what else did we have growing? The what? No, oh, well, now we're growing. We actually had a bonus plan where we have wax gourd growing that popped up in the yard, so that was fun to watch grow. But yes, we are now elated to know that we actually can grow things, and it's not, like we are still allowed to eat what we grow. So,
Hallelujah. Toda for sharing. Hallelujah. All right, next slide. Next slide. Oh yeah, that's what that's my healthy. When I say it tastes like healthy funnel cake. Oh, and that pink stuff, that's Sweet William. That's Sweet William. Yeah, and that's a plant that it'll flower year round. Next slide. Oh, and this is me. I'm sorry, going back. This is me making juice. Yeah, this has a name. I forget what it's called, but it's a double boiler, I think, and you steam it. So there's water in the bottom, the elderberry goes in the top, and then the steam comes up, and the elderberry, the juices collect in the middle container, and then that's cooked enough to be treated. So then you can drink it. Next slide. And then just more elderberry stuff. Next slide. And this is just me collecting the flowers and what the flowers look like. Next slide. You've already seen that. Next slide. Which one of these is the daylily? This is daylily. Every part of the daylily is edible. I eat the flowers. I eat them both closed and open. Open, raw, they taste like sweet lettuce. Or you can saute them. Or closed, I fry them like tempura. Asiatic lilies, don't eat them, poisonous. Pretty. And I'm opening back up. For a while, I was very hard-nosed, and the only non-edible thing that I grew was daffodils, because that was to keep away the rabbits and the deer. But now I love, these are called, if you know, say it. That's it. You know, I like you, sis. We need to hang out. These are stargazers, and they smell beautiful. As cut flowers, they will light up your home, and they're just so pretty, so I just started regrowing them again. So blah, blah, blah. I already answered that question. Next slide. Next slide. Oh, the pictures. So this is me. These are the daylilies, what they look like outside. So again, food that doesn't look like food. And so me picking them, me battering them, me frying them, and me serving them on a plate. And these are just other things out in the yard. Next slide. Okay. I'm going to I need to keep giving out stuff. So, because time is running out. Anyone know what these are? Green onions or scallions, Egyptian walking scallions. If you would just take one past the rest. Those were already started, but these are the bulbs. So what happens is when they reproduce, and a lot of people, I'm sorry, yes, I'm going to use this as my platform with an axe to grind. Yes, I know the scripture talks about with seeds and things after seeds. Do you know how many things you eat that you don't grow from seed? Here's one. Okay? So this is a vegetative propagation. A lot of plants reproduce vegetatively. So open this bag. I'll open it for you. And in here are the bulbs. Try to just bring ones that have green tops on them. So this will turn into this is a green onion. So you won't ever get like a full-size onion out of this. These are the greens, cut and come again. And I don't dig up plants. When they've done doing what they're doing, I leave the roots in the ground. Why? What? You say they chill? right? They decompose, they aerate, they produce, they allow, when they decompose, they produce more nutrients. So I cut them and leave them in there. So I cut the greens, I don't pull them up, and they just keep reproducing. So you could take 1 or 2 or 3 of these and grow them. They like to grow in cold weather. So they are technically not they're technically not perennials. They're annuals, but you don't have to replant them. They kind of replant themselves. They grow up on escape. They make the bulb. The bulb gets heavy. It drops over. Where it touches the ground, it roots. There's your next plant. That's why they're called walking onions, because they start, the parent was here, grew up, next one grows up here, grows up, falls over here, and that's why they're called that. Next slide. Oh, yeah. So I'll do this for you. What is this? Passion fruit. These are maypops. You can buy them, but they're wild too. This is what they look like in the wild. They have 3 lobes. 2, what's that? Grapes. What's the wild version? They don't call them grapes. Muscadine. Which picture? And there are some on the property. I saw one. I saw one muscadine bush on here. Which picture? Is D. Did you know that the leaves are edible? What's it called? World Traveler. I think they're called doma. So you can eat the leaves. 3, this is okra. Oh, okay, okra, but okra belongs to the group of plants called, I think mallows. I could be wrong. Okras are related to, this is an okra. These are rose. We drank this yesterday. This is hibiscus, but I prefer calling it, what do they call it in the islands? Sorrel or roselle, because this is also a hibiscus. So is Rose of Sharon a hibiscus. There's a lot of hibiscus. But this is also, it looks like cotton. And I forget the group, the family, but they're all part of the same family. So they all have, when you see the flowers, I don't have a flowering picture. The flowers look the same. Yes, ma'am. Everything that I say is medicinal, you guys have to check for yourselves, because a lot of them have contradictions, where, like, if you're on certain medications, yes. If you're on certain medications, it may, for example, if you're on a high blood pressure medication, it may lower your pressure so much that it becomes dangerous. So please look, everything that I'm telling you, you have to look at it. Does it work for me? Okay, so I don't know, and there are so many different things called, what are these called again? Hibiscus, and they're not the same genus species, so it varies. Raspberry, I know it's leaves of 3, but that is not, what's the leaves of 3, don't touch me? Poison ivy, which is also on the property. It's a different leaves of 3. Did you have a question? Nothing. I don't have strawberry on here. 5 are the scallions that I gave you. This is wild onion. And 6, you can buy this in the store. Anybody know what this is? This likes dry places. Purslane. And this is purslane out of a crack in the sidewalk. Yes. Purslane. It is a weed, one that's healthy for you. Next slide. A few more things to give away. I have lemongrass to give away. You get this from the farmer's market. Is that yours? Or you get it? Are you saying I should start lemongrass here? You can get lemongrass at the farmer's market and just put it in water on a windowsill and it'll grow roots, okay? It doesn't like cold weather, so you'll have to either protect it or last year I dug up some. It was a huge clump and I didn't mean to, but I overwintered it inside and then I gave it away at Pesach. Next slide. Oh, go back. This was in a pot with, I gave that away already. That is your pineapple sage. Next slide. I have to wrap this up quickly. Companion plants talks about fruit. And if you, do you have guilds where your apple trees are? Take a picture of that slide. You should be growing fruit guilds. So I have a new treat. I'm sort of a newlywed. I married my lovely Ish in 2020, and he purchased us the house on an acre. And so in 2020, in the fall, I planted a bunch of fruit trees. And last year, I had maybe 5 persimmon. And this year, I have more persimmon than I can count. So I brought some persimmon from my orchard. I have 2 of everything, even though all my plants are self-fertile. My husband's poking. He, don't do that. That hurts my feelings. I had a pear tree. Again, last year it produced 1 pear. This year it produced so many pears that it's like this, that one of the branches broke. We went to go see my mother and my brother for 4 days. Came back, and I pulled some of the pears, and I had an eyes on the pears, because I know the deer come and they'll eat the pears, but this had higher pears. Every last pear was gone. Our neighbor's son, grown, our neighbor was in Vietnam. His son came and cleaned us out of our pears. My husband said, but he's from the country for it. So I'm going to, I don't know how to do this. I have one. I think I have about 20. Oh, this is the way you should eat them. I got to be careful. When they're so ripe, they're so soft. And this is a messy eat, but it's so good. I cut the top and you scoop out the insides and you just slurp it, seriously. Don't try and eat. You could bite into it. It's going to run all. It's going to mess up your clothes. Okay? So I got ones that were a little bit harder so they would travel better. But when they get like this is when someone just leave this up here. And I have a box for over here. So these are called persimmons. These are Asian persimmons because there's also an American persimmon. But the American persimmon is dioecious, which means there are male trees and female trees. They're not self-fertile. And so you have to plant, and their maturity, it takes them a lot longer to become mature. They don't get as big. So I cheated. I got the Asian ones, and so I got persimmons now. So I brought some to share. Next slide. Oh, so if you want to grow fruits, companion planting. I don't really have time to talk about this, but there are different types of plants that have very different functions in the garden. This is why you don't do like Babylon and do monocultures. Because then you have everybody taking the same nutrients out of the soil. You want them to complement each other and to help each other. Okay? So if you have a camera, this is the screen to take the shot of. It's called a fruit tree guild. And it tells you the different types of plants. Oh, click one, next slide. It'll tell you. You have suppressors. These suppress weeds. You got suppressors. Oregano is a suppressor. Mint is a suppressor. These are, watermelon is a suppressor. They form ground covers that prevent other things from moving in. Pollinators. You want your insects to come and pollinate your flowers so you get fruit. Flowers produce fruit. But if you don't have any flowers, you ain't got no fruit. So sometimes you want to add other things that flower just to call the pollinators in. Repellers, you want stuff like daffodils that smell bad, or onions that smell bad, or garlic, so that the looper butterfly doesn't come and eat all your cabbage, or the rabbits or the deer don't come and eat all your stuff. Fixers, what kind of fixers? Somebody said it. Nitrogen fixers. What are 2 examples of nitrogen fixers I gave out today? Peas and beans. Also clover, which you can eat, by the way. You can eat clover. Mulchers. These are things that grow a lot of leaves, and then you can chop them up, and then they cover the area. So like, where are my mulchers? These, alfalfa, comfrey, borage, hickory, artichoke, these are all mulchers. Accumulators. These are your sunflowers. Can you see what, I'm not going to take it out because it's going to make a mess. Can you see what this is? This is a sunflower head. It's dried up, so it was round, but as it dried up, it bent. So it's bent on itself. And every last one of these is a seed. And I will let you have some first. And what's great about sunflowers is they're minors. So if you've ever tried to dig up like that's, my sunflowers, they're mammoth sunflowers, so they're tall. They're taller than I am. And what you see, they're like Titanics. They're like icebergs. What you see on top, trees are like that too, is only a fraction of what's below. So they send their roots deep to mine the nutrients, and then they bring them up into their leaves, and then when they drop their leaves, the surface now has availability of those nutrients that were deeper. You going to say something, brother? They do, along with radishes. That is exactly true. Yes, that's another reason why I grow them. Yes, in Georgia. Yes. All right, next slide. There are still persimmons, if anybody wants some more persimmons. The seeds are soft enough that I eat them. They have them in, they're fleshy. Well, you must have missed my comment about seeds. If we don't eat seeds, we shouldn't eat bananas. Bananas aren't grown from seeds. Potatoes aren't grown from seeds. Most strawberries, they got seeds on the outside, but that's not what they're grown from. Strawberries aren't grown from seeds. What else isn't grown from seeds? Mint, all that. Well, you can, I guess. Anybody ever try and grow mint from a seed? Very hard to do. Did it work for you? See? Yeah. So now there are a lot of plants that reproduce without themselves, without seeds. Next. I do have this plant, but I didn't bring any of this time. So next slide. Next slide. I've already talked about sunflowers. My beautiful Ish closing with some silliness with me. I have to put these in the garden because the deer eat them. The first year we had them, we don't get them anymore outside. And how many of you like to eat artichokes? Do you know artichokes are flowers that we're not allowed to bloom? They say you can eat sunflowers the same way you eat artichokes. That's going to have to be on my list again for next year because I didn't do it this year. But you pick them before they bloom, and you treat them just like you would treat an artichoke, and you eat them like the artichoke. Next slide. What kind of plants can grow in the dark? This is me and my son. He's now 28. I'm now an imama. My little one is, well, his little one, my grand little one, is will be 3 in December. This is us in Belize, in the Akul, you may know, Akul Mal. It's a cave that has I think she's called the Iron Maiden. There's a skeleton of a woman, and you have to climb and go through the cave, and you have to enter the cave in the water, and you have helmets and stuff. And so this is like, we're in a cave. We are deep in a cave, deep in a cave. The only light that this plant gets is what? Is headlamp, is lights of people coming to the cave to go see the Iron Princess. This blew my mind. That's why I took this picture. Because this is not a cenote that had sunlight. Because sometimes you have caves where the sunlight comes in. This was not that kind of cave. I did not understand how this, I know how the seeds got there. The bats brought them in their guano. But I didn't know how they were growing. And this is no longer microgreens, because you can grow plants without sun, but not indefinitely. So what kind of plant can you grow without sun in the dark? Sprouts. But no, not root crops. Next slide. Because they can't. That was my segue into this. But there is something you can grow with no sun. Mushrooms. And if you choose not to eat them, that's fine. I eat them. So, and they can be grown with no light. And so I'm learning, if you've never grown them and you want to try, this is my recommendation. This got me hooked. This is called Back to Roots. You can get these in Walmart for $20. They're boxes. Follow the directions. These are oyster mushrooms. And they'll have you grow your own oyster mushrooms. And then so I've stepped up, and now I'll grow them out of buckets. And I grow mainly oysters, many different types of oysters, and lion's mane are the two that I grow. You guys, ladies and gentlemen, that was my husband asking me where I got the buckets from. Why don't you tell him the answer to that? Tell him the answer. Publix on Wednesdays. And tell him how I feel about clean buckets. What did he say? He's still in denial. That's the kind of answer he give me. Don't make me ask, well, how you know her? All right, next slide. Next slide. How long can let fresh eggs last? Next slide. Anybody have an answer? How long? Fresh. Look at my picture. I glassed eggs September 2022, and I scrambled them in February of 25. Okay? Next slide. I'm almost done. Okay, I'm going to have to end because I'm over. This just talks about different types of plastic, not all the same. 2 is the best type to grow. Next slide. Next slide. 2, 4, and 5. So yes, we collect our own rainwater. Next slide. Next, okay, and I'm going to stop there because now I'm going into prepping kind of stuff. So any last minute questions? All of this stuff that I would like, oh, wait, I see some more stuff I didn't give away. What's this? Yes. Corn, peas or beans, and what do I call it? A cucurbit, which is some kind of gourd, a squash, a melon, or something. I'm sorry, you guys. I brought paper for you to put your seeds in. So those of you who still need paper to put your seeds in, my bad. And I even bought the stapler for you to staple it, the little seed packets with. I'm sorry. What else did I bring? You need that? You need that? I bought a little fuzzy bag for whoever wants it. There was something else. Is that everything? Here's a pineapple sage for somebody who still wants one that fell out of the water. Anybody want extra pineapple? Here you go. Here's a little baby loofah. So when you pick them to eat, they should be just slightly smaller than this. Baby loofah? No, it doesn't have any seeds. I can get you some seeds though. Still have seeds. Yes. Yes. The seeds are inside. All right, did I get rid of all my stuff? There's still some stuff up in the front. We can stay. Is there anybody who is interested on doing a foraging hike like after this? Yes? Okay, how about we say I will leave from that door at 4 o'clock. That gives me 15 minutes. Yeah, today. Yeah, because it was supposed to be like right after this. Okay. Huh? What? Persimmon. Oh, they'll be right. Oh, you're saying somebody here has them. Oh, really? Oh, not, okay, I haven't walked there. All right. Okay. Any other questions? Yes. Next slide. Next slide, next slide. The grow zones. No, I go by what they have posted out. Next, this is ivy. Poison ivy. This is the cure for poison ivy. That's off. It's not next to this poison ivy. But we've been places in the field where we found it growing right there because the Most High provides. Anybody know what this is? And the thing is, now the name has forgotten. It's got it out of my head, too. It has a yellow flower. I think it's called Touch Me Not. I'm not sure. I'll have to look it up and get back. It might be on the next slide. Next slide. Is it on the next slide? No, those are all things you shouldn't touch. Next slide. So I'll have to get back to you on that. These are, oh, wait, it's on here. Jewelweed. Jewelweed is what it's called. The raspberry you saw, box elder, Virginia creeper I've seen out here, and peanuts. This is hog peanut. There are other things that also look like poison ivy that aren't. Next slide. This is what I want to get to, though. Next slide until you see the QR code. Go till you see the QR code. In case you are, next steps, things that you should do, pause, let's go back one. There are in the chats, there is, go forward one, go forward another. You're going back. You're going back. Go forward, go forward. Next one, right there. So there's a GAI chat called GHI Health and Wealth, and in it is food, forest, gardening, and houseplants, and herbal remedies, and I kind of hang out in those chats. So, and in the herbal remedies, I give a monthly thing to forage for. And in the food, forest, and gardening, I give a monthly, this is what you should be doing this month with the things that you're growing. All right, next slide. So here's the information on the courses that I teach through GAI. Next slide. Next slide. Lessons from the Garden. That's the intro course. This one is the least expensive of all the courses. It has a tuition of only $75, which you can apply to the next level up. Because this is, if you haven't grown, this is where you should start. Next slide. And so this is all my houses. Next slide. I talked about this. This is the Growing Greatness class. So this is about where you talk about the medicinal things. And this is where you'll be encouraged to find what kind of plants should you be growing for what your body needs. And part of what you'll do in this class is grow something. That's one of the homework assignments. And then the last one, this is the one I'm excited about, which I haven't taught for GA, next slide, next GAI yet, is this one, Forming and Farming Food Forests. So this is our current property, how to come in and take a property and turn it into a food forest where you can go out, plant once, and then just pick. Because there are some things that you should know before you start planting. There are places you should plant certain things. There are other things aside from, there's water. You need to think about water. You need to think about the animals that are going to come and try and eat your stuff. There's so many other things to think about just than planting things. So these QR codes will probably take you all to the same place. So let's go to the next slide, which is the last slide. do it, click again, please. Oh, next slide, next slide, next slide. These are some of the things that I post about with foraging. These are all foraging. Next slide. Maybe one day I'll teach, okay, yes, stay here. Maybe one day I'll teach a foraging class. I don't know. So here's the information you need to register for any of these classes. So is there anybody who did not learn something they did not know? Yay, I was successful. Thank you for coming to see. There's still stuff up here, and I'll plan on leaving to forage out that door at 4 o'clock. If you would, please help me clean up. Make sure you've collected all your seeds. There are still envelopes here if you need envelopes for seeds. There's still a loofah sponge here. There's still a bunch of things here. Oh, I'm sorry. There's still a bag full of sweet basil, and there's still a bag of mullein seeds. Mullein, here's your mullein. Mullein respiratory, it's fuzzy. They know a lot about mullein. You want mullein? Mullein. This is basil. Oregano. Here's oregano. Here's basil. Sweet basil. This is sweet basil. No more mullein? Yes. The mullein is in a small bag. Afi, give me some mullein. Again, those mullins are teeny tiny. Oh. Your oregano's here. Here's the mullein. I have it in my hand. I pulled it for you. Yes. You put it in paper and in their seeds. Yeah, I would break off this.